Meh. All right. Now, there were actually a few good takeaways that I had from this E3. I think every particular conference that I saw at least had at least one or two good things to be a little bit excited for. I'll say right off the bat, I didn't get the chance to see the Bethesda conference, so I don't really have a whole lot to comment on that. I mean, I did hear that the Fallout 4 is coming out, so yeah, I mean, I personally didn't get a chance to play much of the Fallouts, but most of my friends did, so that's probably something we'll be getting into in the future, so looking forward to that. Yeah, like I said, I didn't get to see the conference, so I don't know what else they really had to offer. I've heard they did a really good conference, though, so I'm probably going to check that out later. Moving on, EA, nothing, really, just really boring. Not a good conference at all, in my opinion. From what I didn't see all of it, but I saw a good chunk of it. Good to see that EA Sports still has that really incredibly broad view of broad definition, that is, of new features, especially in the Maddens and the other sports games, saying like, "Oh, we're just going to repackage, maybe touch up, do a few different things with a feature that we've been selling for the past 10 games, and sell it to you basically as a new feature." And nothing else really notable out of the EA conference. Everything else was just ranged from not interesting at all to just whatever, except for obviously Battlefront gameplay footage we finally saw. This was awesome. That was particularly good, but I consider that more a DICE achievement than EA. Loved the footage. Battle of Hoth we got to see. It was epic, broad scale, multiple different things, like air combat. We're not going to get space combat, though. I was a little skeptical as to whether the game was going to be good without space combat, and it still might not be good. I'm not going to automatically say it's great now, but I feel more confident in it now, especially that they still have the third person option. Obviously, they have the first person because, it's the guys that did Battlefield, but they're keeping the third person option available to you for those of us that prefer the third person combat in the previous two Battlefront games with the old company. So that was great. One nitpick, and I know this is a micro nitpick, I listened to the sound of the rifles, like the rifle sound effects. They sound strange and kind of off, and not really like anything else you hear in the Star Wars universe, which struck me as a bit odd, because, there's plenty of sound assets, like rifle sounds, blaster sounds, that have been used in Star Wars forever, and now they're going with this kind of like, this like hard, like almost like real-life rifle sound with like a tiny bit of a laser sound to it. I can't really even describe it. Again, this has nothing to do with anything. It's just me being a Star Wars nerd nitpicking. If you noticed it too, by all means, the 12 people that watch this, tell me about it. It just struck me as a bit odd. But use of heroes, Jedi and Jedi combat in the battles. I already mentioned the air combat. Bringing back the, having air vehicles in land combat. I know it's not space combat, but that was something the original Battlefront had. Was you could have, a land battle, but there would be air support kind of to a degree. It wasn't the best, but if they're touching that up and making that better, I'm really looking forward to that. But I spent way more time on EA than I was planning on. Everything else kind of sucked. Sony, initially I thought Sony was awesome. They showed a lot of cool new IPs. They didn't show as much of the indie stuff, which it seemed like they were going to, when they were talking about it initially, they were going to showcase some of that, and it didn't seem like they did. I don't remember seeing any indies really getting a center stage thing, but a lot of new IPs. There was this one game, I forget the name of it. If you remember what it was, let me know, but it seems like it's this mixed with like Native American-ish with beasts, like fighting beasts that are infused with technology, sort of like techno beasts or whatever. If you're a fan of the Old Republic books, they talk about techno beasts. This is another, it's me being a Star Wars nerd thing, but it was struck me as reminiscent of that. It has nothing to do, it's not in any way connected to Star Wars, but that's just what it reminded me of. And it looked really cool. We got to see a little bit of gameplay of that, fighting this chick has this sort of like electronic, like crossbow thing fighting this huge robotic monster thing, and it looked really, really cool. No Man's Sky, it didn't seem like they showed much more of that than they did last year. Maybe a tiny bit more. Still excited to see that, so yay, looking forward to that. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this when I get to the Squeenix stuff, but the Final Fantasy stuff, it struck me at first. I was really excited, as I'm sure a lot of people were, and because, obviously, like FF7 Remake, because I personally didn't get a chance to really enjoy FF7 like a lot of other people did, because I got into Final Fantasies late, and the graphic style kind of was a little distracting, and I didn't find it very accessible, and the translation issues on top of that just wasn't a good experience for me. So, but I'll get into that more when we get to Squeenix, why I'm starting to think a little differently now. Oh, the Dreams, the sort of like a similar thing to what Nintendo's doing with Mario Maker. They have this Dreams thing, which looks really, really fluid and like really intuitive, and it's gonna like work really well for creative types, like creating your own scenarios, and they play out almost exactly how you want them. I'd like to see it in later stages, to see like it in action. They really didn't show us a whole lot of it, but from the little bit that they did, it looks like this could be really cool, especially if you want to see if you have a knack for game design, if it's something you want to pursue, maybe as a career path later in life. This can give you just a little taste of what it's like to design a level without having to know coding and everything like that. So that seemed really cool. They talked about some stuff with Devolver Digital, but I don't really remember what it was. I'm sorry, this isn't very good. Ubisoft. Don't really have a whole much else to say about Ubisoft than I did from EA. I actually tweeted after the Ubisoft conference that basically for the second year in a row, the most interesting and compelling thing that I saw at the Ubisoft conference was Aisha Tyler. So, I mean, as far as games, it was just, a lot of their same stuff. I mean, not a whole lot of new IPs or anything. Assassin's Creed, whatever. Assassin's Creed, to me, is just, they're just pumping them out every year now. And I wasn't really that big into the franchise to begin with. The Division doesn't really appeal to me. Rainbow Six, I know there's a lot of fans of that out there, so that's good. I think there was another the Tom Clancy games. But whatever. Ubisoft, Aisha Tyler's awesome. I guess that was something good. Enjoyed watching her. So I already mentioned Sony, all that stuff. So Squeenix. First off, Just Cause, awesome. Just Cause 3, that is. Can't wait for that. Can't wait to try that out, because Just Cause 2 is awesome. I didn't own it, but Jared had it, and we played that for a bit, and that was a lot of fun. It seems like they're not doing a whole lot of new stuff, but they're just adding a few extra things to make some things that they already had in the game, like the grappling hook. They're making that cooler. They're making the parachute thing work a little better with like a wingsuit. That should be fun, especially, working with the grapple. So they realized, it's good to know that they realized what the fans of the games, love to use, and they're like, let's make that a lot better, and let's just see how many more amazing things we can do with these features. And it's going to be another huge map, a lot of destructible environments. I guess that's kind of a new thing. So I'm excited about Just Cause 3. Can't wait for that. Okay, what else do they have? Really? Oh, Kingdom Hearts 3 gameplay. Yeah, that was cool. I'm a newcomer to the Kingdom Hearts series. Me and Jake played through that a little bit. You saw on the channel me going through some of the boss battles. That was a lot of fun. It's one of those series where like you have to commit to playing it, I guess. Like if you're just gonna I'll try it out, whatever. Like you're probably gonna get turned off pretty fast. Like, but if you're in it for the long haul, like it can be really enjoyable, and the story is really well done. And I expect that 3 will continue that trend and be just as good as the other two, so that's going to be fun. And they showed us a decent amount of gameplay, which was really good to see. Mobile games, whatever, not interested. FF7, I said, the FF7 remake, why would you give it to Sony to announce to everybody if, where that's one of your biggest things, that the thing that fans are going to get probably the most excited about, because that's what fans have been asking about for such a long time. And after seeing the Squeenix them talking about it and commenting about it, I know why they give it to Sony to show off first. It's because they had basically nothing to add to it. Like, literally nothing at all. In fact, literally all they said after playing the exact same trailer as you saw from the Sony conference was, yeah, we are planning a remake. They didn't even say we are in the process of making it, or this is how far we are with it. It's just we are planning a remake, and that's what I want to get to. Why, after having a chance to digest it, while I was excited before, I'm not really excited at all about it now, and it's probably just something I'm never gonna play. After hearing what they had to say about it, which was basically nothing, like I said, and saying that they're only thinking about it or planning on remaking it, and listening to some other people on YouTube really break down the assets, what was involved in the trailer, what was being used, and what they know about games and stuff. And, these are people on YouTube with opinions that I trust. It seems like when this game comes out, hopefully my future children will be able to enjoy it. It seems like it is a long, long way away before it ever comes out. And on top of that, it seems like they are very preoccupied with making sure it has the super, flashy, up-to-date graphics of FF13, which I had no interest in playing when it came out, and I have no interest in playing basically ever. And that seems like kind of a waste of time. It seems like that is going to just take away from, making a good FF7 experience, taking stuff away from, touching up things, making certain things better localization, which the game sorely needed. And that also leads me to believe if it took them this long, and if it's going to continue to take them this long to make an FF7 remake with all these, amazing, or quote-unquote amazing graphical improvements, sounds like we're never going to get an FF6 remake, which is what I really want to see, because I love that game, which is why I'm playing it on the channel with John, because they're probably going to be, Squeenix that is, they're probably going to be reluctant to do any other remakes of, older games in the series, considering the amount of time and effort they would have to put into the graphics. So yeah, I guess FF7 is just gonna be a had to have been there moment for me. So lastly, Nintendo. I know Nintendo's thing came before Square Enix's, but one thing that immediately caught my attention was it seemed like every other conference was like they're gonna get like the main guy on stage and like give this whole spiel about the direction they want their company to go in. He's like, we're trying to break new boundaries and do all this great stuff, and Nintendo's like, fuck it. Here's us as Muppets. It was fucking awesome. I really enjoyed it. And they were very focused on games that are coming out basically now. If not now, like a couple months from now, or like the very, very beginning of next year, or very end of this year. All stuff that you can have in your hands within a couple months. So this new Star Fox looks really, really awesome. It's not really, they were talking about how it's not really like a remake exactly, like, sort of like a reimagining of elements of a lot of the older Star Fox games, which seems like a really, really awesome idea. I was a little not sure when they were talking about how, like, they're sort of mapping all your firing options to a single button, because I'm like, well, does this mean they're getting rid of the bomb option, which, like, in Star Fox 64, you had, like, your regular blasters and you had your bombs, because that was, like, a lot of fun, having the bombs. But I mean, I guess they're trying to save all the other buttons for transformations. I guess like your R-Wing can turn into a walker, which that sounds amazing. Your other commands like you're doing your barrel rolls and all that stuff. I think they're bringing back also the original voice actors, if I'm not mistaken, for like Star Fox 64. If that's true, then that's awesome. Also, they mentioned that you can, once you've completed a level, you can go back and replay all the levels that you've played using different vehicles, which sounds amazing. And that means like they're putting extra time into level design because, they've got to accommodate using different vehicles. So you make sure that, it's actually possible to go through each of these levels with different vehicles, like the Landmaster and stuff like that. So that's great. That's really encouraging. Unfortunately, since I'm probably not getting a Wii U, I'll probably just have to see how that plays out in watching a Let's Play. Metroid, I believe it's called like Federation Forge. That sounds pretty cool. It seems like they're incorporating co-op into Metroid. That's cool. That's really cool. But I know what everybody wants to know what I think at least is, what do I think of Yoshi's Woolly World? And Yoshi's Woolly World looks amazing. It looks absolutely adorable. It looks amazing, like great gameplay. No, I'm probably not going to play that either, but it does look really good. The Yoshi games have always looked like they're well put together and stuff. You know, I played Yoshi's Story back in the day. I played Yoshi's Island. I didn't get to finish it, unfortunately, because the Baby Mario thing was just too annoying. But it looks like it's going to be a good game. Mario Maker, like I was talking about with Dreams, it seems like this is going to be really cool for creative types, guys that want to get into game design, designing levels, sharing them with other people, doing a bunch of different things. It was one thing that was funny. You can, depending on I think what amiibos you have, you can make different transformations for Mario or whatever. And it was like Mario transforming into the Wii Fit trainer, because you know that's what everybody's been waiting for. But other stuff. Oh yeah, celebrating 30 years of Mario. I didn't even know that, but yeah, that's cool. You know, hey, 30 years of Mario. So props. You know, gotta give respect. You know, they did show not a new like platform Zelda, but a Four Swords adventure kind of game for A Link Between Worlds. Also, yeah, Hyrule Warriors coming to 3DS. That could be cool if you're a 3DS user. Sounds great, and I guess they're incorporating all the DLC characters that are already available with purchase, so that's good. I'm always in favor of you know, not having to pay for DLC stuff. So another thing, I guess I'll say for Nintendo, if you're thinking about going out and buying a Wii U like this year or in the next 2 years, it seems like there's a lot of new and cool stuff you can get that's coming out like right now. So I guess in a way that's a system seller. I'm still not getting one. And that's basically it. I didn't see the Microsoft conference, and I don't care. I'm sure it's a lot of stuff that you can probably get on other platforms. So whatever. But those are my thoughts on E3 2015. Couple of stuff I'm really chomping at the bit to get. A lot of stuff that I'll see what you other Let's Players out there are doing, and let you enjoy, and I'll just enjoy from afar. So yeah, and Square Enix, thanks for screwing up the FF7 remake before it's even done. So yeah. Okay, bye.